I got into playing music when I was about 16. I had been saving up my money forever to buy a boat, and then a friend of mine decided to sell his drum set so he could buy a moped. So I bought his drum set instead. Perfect logic in my book for becoming a drummer. When you're a drummer and you're 16, everybody leaves their instruments in your basement. So all my friends came to jam at my house. I had basses, I had guitars, I had keyboards, I had everything in my basement. So, you know, being a drummer, you pick up everything else, you start playing it. You can't read music being a drummer, so you just start writing your own stuff. Everybody told me that the songs I was writing when I was younger were really visual and that I should be in film and TV. I wanted to be on the cover of Rolling Stone. That sounded like not quite the same thing. I came in sideways and really fell into it and fell in love with it. Got involved with orchestras and thought, wow, this is amazing. 80 people playing a piece of music that was in your head yesterday. That's a pretty cool idea. I usually start with some little idea in my head, and then I sort of kitchen sink. I add whatever comes next. If the drums comes next, that's what goes on. If the strings comes next, that's what goes next. The visual style of the show is this sort of Chrysler building aesthetic of the future. It was the 50s and 60s idea of what the future was going to be. And music was nuts back then. Someone would actually go in and be able to make a record with an orchestra, somebody banging on a kitchen sink, and somebody chanting in fake African. This was the Lava Lounge extravaganza. It's really interesting when you let your mind wander creatively. You end up coming up with things that might not necessarily fit together, but then you go backwards and look at it after the fact and deconstruct it and realize, wow, okay, this piece and this piece are really meant for each other. This other thing, maybe not so much. Maybe that's for a new piece of music that's coming next. So it's a puzzle. In the last 20 years, I've been doing so many different kinds of music. I sort of have a love for all of them now. I mean, I'm still at home, I'm still a drummer. Always been about the drums, will probably always my whole life be about the drums. The luck I get is to be able to play in all these different fields and experience what's great in that kind of music. Each of the instruments that I've learned along the way bring out a different side of me as a writer. It inspires you to go different places in music. My whole idea about creating a writing aesthetic is having all these different tools available, and I can sort of go from station to station, and I often lose myself. I'll start someplace, and 2 hours later, I'm sitting on a keyboard, and I didn't expect to be there, and the song or the piece of music has taken a different turn. greatest things about Futurama is Matt, originally, the very beginning, said, surprise me. Surprise me every week. I'm not going to give you notes. I want you to surprise me, take me someplace next week that I wasn't last week. And that continues to make it a challenge the entire time we do it.
What makes you keep wanting to wake up and come back to work every day or walk down to the studio and power it up?
Well, I think, you know, yeah, that's a hard question to answer. I gotta think about that for a second. When you become part of a show that has such a strong connection with fans, you always feel the responsibility to do something that they're going to think's cool. When I sit down to work on the music, I'm looking at it from the standpoint of, okay, what can I do that's going to make this show better than when I saw it without the music? I get to do what I love. I get to constantly find new ways to create. I get to play with instruments that I'm not sure I even know what they do until I get on them, and then I live with them and grow with them and evolve with them. It's a total dream. It's a dream to be able to create music every day of the week.